Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Grakowski. Welcome back to the Better Brain Academy. So we've talked about the 4 things that you need to sustain life. Just to remind you, we obviously need food. So we've been talking about ways to eliminate certain bad foods and also add good foods to our body so that we are making changes in the nutrient value that's coming into our body. Our body's innate intelligence knows what to do with that. We just need to give it all the right stuff and start to eliminate the bad stuff. We've talked about water. Water is so important, making sure the quality of our water is very important, but making sure that you're hydrating your body on a regular basis. We've also talked about oxygen, which is the focus for today's video, and then nerve supply. Nerve supply is that a life force energy that flows through our body that sustains life. Our brain is sending messages, millions of impulses per second throughout our entire body, controlling and coordinating everything. It has to go down through your lifeline, through your spine. So as a chiropractor, our main focus is to make sure that your spine is in proper alignment. But today with oxygen, it's really important to look at how that takes place, because this is how you can influence your nervous system just about more than anything else, is through the way that we are oxygenating our body. So the uppermost part of the neck and the brain stem and a part of the brain called the hypothalamus, which regulates that, is a part of the brain that keeps you breathing. You're going to take about 16 breaths every minute, about 960 breaths every hour, and about 23,000 breaths every day. Think about that for a moment. 23,000 times you're going to breathe without having to consciously think about it. However, so we have our autonomic nervous system, which is our automatic nervous system that can control that. And if we get stressed, we're going to breathe more shallow. We're going to reduce the oxygen into our body because we're ready to fight a battle. So if we're under a lot of stress, we are constantly affecting that. There is more of a problem with sleep apnea or mouth breathing, these challenges, than I've ever seen in 40 years in healthcare. And I think a lot of it is we take our stresses of the day to bed with us. Now, we have the ability to voluntarily control our breath. So if I said, hold your breath right now, you could stop that process of breathing. Or if I said, breathe real slow through your diaphragm. Your diaphragm is your organ it's your muscle of respiration. We need to make sure that that muscle is being used. However, a lot of people are breathing with the uppermost part of the chest, costal breathing. That takes a lot of energy. If you see people with a lot of tightness along through the uppermost part of the back or in through the neck, they're costal breathing, they are not diaphragmatic breathing. So we're going to address those issues today and how you can consciously take your breath to reduce the stress on your body. If you just close your mouth and breathe through your nose and bring the breath down to your belly, your diaphragm, that kicks you out of the sympathetic nervous system and puts you into more what's called parasympathetic nervous system. Your sympathetic, to remind you, is your fight or flight. Your parasympathetic is your rest and digest. So I want you to think about this. If the part of your nervous system that has you rest and able to digest your food better, you should always, more so than anything, make sure that you're breathing properly before you start a meal. So what I'd like you to do is think of consciously breathing through your nose and closing your mouth for 10 breaths before you start a meal. So you're going to inhale down to the belly, hold for a couple seconds, exhale out your mouth, in through your nose, down to the belly, bring that oxygen to the belly to start to help in digesting food, out your mouth. Take about 10 breaths like that, and you kick out of that fight or flight and into the rest and digest. A lot of people will hurry up and eat something very quick on a short lunch hour, or maybe get home from work and you're just trying to sustain some fuel into the body. Making your meal time and making your a time that you have to get food into the body is so important to make sure that you're digesting it properly. So oxygenation is so important. You can control a part of your motor cortex of your brain and slow down your breath. And then once you quit consciously doing that, it will go back into a lowered state of breathing, so you're not all frenetic. taking 10 breaths through the nose, down to the diaphragm, before you rest, before you go to sleep at night, before you are about to start a meal, is a great thing to do to not only stimulate the gut biome to get oxygen, to digest your food, but kicks you out of that fight or flight where you're not digesting food, that you're kicking into preparing to get the fuel into your body. So make sure that you're taking about 10 deep breaths, affecting the parasympathetic nervous system, overriding that fight or flight response, and allowing your body to digest your food much better on a regular basis. Try that over this next week. Every meal, take some deep breaths through the nose, down to the belly, and then enjoy your meal and digest it much better. It's another Better Brain tip from Dr. Bob. Have a great rest of your week.